Castleblaney. Castleblaney or Castleblaney, Irish Baile na Lorgan, is a town in County Monaghan, Ireland. The town had a population of 3,607 as of the 2016 census. Castleblaney is near the border with County Armagh in Northern Ireland and lies on the N2 road from Dublin to Derry and Letterkenny. Geography. The town lies above the western shore of Lough Mucknow, the largest lake in County Monaghan. The River Fane flows eastwards from the lake to the Irish Sea at Dundalk in County Louth. As the Irish name of the lake, the place where pigs swim, suggests, the area is associated with the Black Pigs Dyke, also known locally in parts of counties Cavan and Monaghan as the Worm Ditch, an ancient Iron Age boundary of Ulster. A few miles to the northeast is the highest elevation in County Monaghan, Mullaish, at altitude 317 m 1034 ft. Markets and fair days were held in the town since the 17th century, but these no longer take place. History. The area was originally known as Baile na Lorgan, town of the long low ridge, anglicised as Baile na Lorgan. It was also sometimes called Cashley and Mathgamta. 17th and 18th centuries. The town of Castleblaney originated in the Tudor conquest of Gaelic Ulster in the 9 Years' War of 1594–1603. In 1611, the Crown granted forfeited lands in the area previously owned by the MacMahon chieftains to Sir Edward Blayney of Montgomeryshire in Wales for his service to Queen Elizabeth I. Sir Edward was later created the first Baron Blayney in July 1621. King James I had already granted him appropriated Augustinian church land or termin at Mucknow Friary on the northeastern side of the lake in the Churchill area Mullindoy in 1606/7. The small town founded by Sir Edward Blayney in 1611 or 1612 is recorded as being called Castleblaney at least as early as 1663. Mucknow is also the name given to the Catholic parish St. Mary's, Castleblaney, and St. Patrick's, Orem, just 3 miles northeast of the town, which is part of the Diocese of Clogher. The Church of Ireland parish is also called Mucknow St. Maeldoids and is part of the Church of Ireland Diocese of Clogher. The parish of Mucknow covers most of the areas around the Lough and town. Originally, the parish of Mucknow was restricted to the area to the east and north of the lake and the Derry River, i.e. the Orem area. With the establishment of the Church of Ireland Church and the Blayney seat on the southern side of the lake, the area of the new town became part of Mucknow. The Catholic parish followed a similar pattern at the end of the penal laws period. Prior to this, the area now covered by the town was part of Clontibret parish. Following the arrival of the Blayney family, the nucleus of the town developed around the original Blayney Castle, above the western shore overlooking the Lough. The old monastic and parish church site fell into disrepair and largely disappeared, though it was used as a graveyard that has since been partially restored. For the first 100 years, the town was little more than a vulnerable, besieged fortification due to the widespread instability, insurgency, and wars throughout Britain and Ireland for much of the 17th century. The piecemeal settlement of English and even some French Huguenot incomers, all of the Protestant faith in contrast to the continuing Catholicism of most of the native population, was followed by a significant influx of largely Ulster Scots settlers after 1690 when greater security prevailed. Population displacement and settlement, along with gradual urban and commercial development, the crossroads location, the national school system, and the famine, as well as the incorporation of the town into the rail network 1849, all helped hasten the decline of the vernacular Irish spoken in the area. However, in rural districts to the south and southeast of the town, particularly Lisdoonin and the barony of Farney, as well as parts of neighbouring South Armagh, the language was quite widely spoken among country people and written by local scribes. Some native speakers of Irish remained into the 20th century. In 1762 a demonstration occurred in the town accompanied by a threatening military presence. This was connected with the O'Poys movement that was active in the county. The protest was about compulsory work to repair public roads as well as private roads and avenues in demesnes owned by the gentry that was exacted from agricultural labourers for no wages. The 11th Baron Blaney. The modern planned town reminiscent of plantation towns with its characteristic wide main street and with long, narrow individual gardens to the rear and out of sight dates from c. 1830. The modern town was largely laid out under the direction of Andrew Blaney, 11th Baron Blaney 1770–1834, who inherited the family peerage and the large Blaney estate as an adolescent in 1784. By about 1800 the then young Lord Blaney had ordered and implemented major reforms in Castleblayney, greatly improving the prosperity and appearance of the town. Educated in France and Germany, the 11th Lord Blaney is famous for his distinguished military career, eventually rising to the rank of lieutenant general, having served in the West Indies, South America, Southern Africa, and the Napoleonic Wars as commander of the 89th Foot, popularly known as Blaney's Bloodhounds. As a peer, he was very active in the suppression of the revolt of the United Irishmen in 1798. It was the 11th Lord Blaney who had the modern Blaney Castle, also known as Castleblayney, constructed around the year 1800. In 1799 Lord Blaney commissioned Robert Woodgate, a former student of Sir John Soane, to design the new Blaney Castle. Woodgate, a distinguished young architect, had first come over to Ireland in 1791 to supervise Soane's plans for Baronscourt, the new country house of John Hamilton, first Marquess of Abercorn, near Newtown Stewart in County Tyrone. The new Blaney Castle was built in a restrained late Georgian style. It is thought that this new castle, in reality a country house, located in the townland of Onamy, was built close to the site of the original Blaney Castle, of which nothing now survives above ground. The house built for the 11th Lord Blaney was later, in the 1850s and early 1860s, substantially altered and enlarged for Henry Thomas Hope and his wife. Blaney Castle, renamed Hope Castle in the early 1850s, stands in a demesne or park on the eastern edge of Castleblayney town itself. It is thought that this demesne predates the current castle, that large parts of it had already been laid out by the early 1770s. The demesne was substantially improved for the 11th Lord Blaney by William Sorry Gilpin in the early 1830s. However, the demesne has deteriorated since it came into public ownership. Almost all of the large Italianate Victorian extension to Hope Castle was demolished by Monaghan County Council in the 1980s. The 11th Lord Blaney also provided for the erection in Castleblayney of the current church buildings of the Catholic, Anglican, and Presbyterian churches, being tolerant in religion if traditionalist in politics and strongly supportive of empire and the Anglo-Irish ascendancies. He also had a market house built, onto which the courthouse was later superimposed in the quasi-centre of the town. It and the former almshouses 1876, which were interdenominationally managed, are the only civic buildings of any architectural merit in the town. As for older dwellings, a row of formerly Mucknow estate workers' cottages in Church St, possibly of continental style, is of fine design and quality apart from modern PVC windows. Some more substantial bourgeois houses in the square close to the castle gates have Georgian echoes. The courthouse will soon undergo major refurbishment and restoration. About 40 structures and buildings are designated as being of regional or local importance. In the early 1840s, what is now St. Mary's Hospital was erected as a workhouse for the very poor. In the course of the year 1849, following the dire effects of the famine, it catered for up to 2,000 inmates in an extreme state of destitution and misery. Its own graveyard is nearby. Hope family and after. In 1853, Castleblayney, 12th Baron Blaney, sometime Member of Parliament for Monaghan, sold Blaney Castle and what remained of the Blaney estate to Henry Thomas Hope from Deepdene in Surrey, an extremely wealthy businessman who had also formerly served as a Member of Parliament at Westminster. The 12th Baron was the last Baron Blaney. The castle was renamed Hope Castle, as it is still called. Hope gave the Georgian castle, with its splendid prospect of Victorian makeover, that the present prettified building retains, externally at least. Castle has always been a misnomer, since it was more of a big house, mansion or manor house than a castle. After his death in 1862, Hope's wife inherited the estate. Soon after 1887, the castle and demesne fell to the next heir, Hope's grandson Lord Francis Hope 1866–1941, who was famous for having sold the renowned family heirloom, the Hope diamond, rather like his father. From 1894 to 1902, he was married to Mae Yohe, the American actress. After 1916, Lord Francis no longer resided in the castle or in Ireland. He succeeded his elder brother to become the 8th Duke of Newcastle, underlined in late May 1928. Hope Castle was leased between 1900 and 1904 to Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught and Strathearn, a son of Queen Victoria. The Duke served during those years as the commander of British military forces in Ireland, whose official residence was the Master's House at the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham, Dublin. The Duke leased Hope Castle from the Pelham Clinton Hope family as his private country residence during these years. The 8th Duke of Newcastle, underlined 1866–1941, previously known as Lord Francis Hope, sold his life interest in the castle and the estate in 1928. The same year he succeeding to the dukedom, short of cash and unable to access the capital endowed into his grandmother's monetary trust. What remained of the estate was subsequently broken up and used, in part, for local political patronage. During the emergency World War II, the old woods on the Black Island in Loughmucknoe were cut down and left as a for some time. Between 1919 and 1921, during the Anglo-Irish military hostilities over independence, the castle was used as a barracks by the British Army. For some time afterwards it functioned as a hospital, and from 1943 to 1974 it was occupied by Franciscan nuns who also managed an adjacent guest house. In the 1980s, Monaghan County Council purchased both Hope Castle and its surrounding demesne or park. It then proceeded in the 1980s to demolish the large Italianate Victorian extension to the castle. The council also allowed the remaining Woodgate interiors to be ripped out at this time. After some years of neglect, the castle has been used for catering and hotel purposes, set in what is now a leisure park with golf course. The current Castleblayney Golf Club adopted the Blaney family coat of arms, with its 3 nags' heads. In October 2010, the castle was burnt down in an arson attack. Rail services in the town ceased on New Year's Day 1960. On 7 March 1976, a bomb exploded in the town's main street, outside the Three-Star Inn pub, killing 1 and injuring 17 others. The attack was one of several cross-border attacks linked to the Glenanne gang during the worst sectarian violence of the Troubles. Council. The modern town of Castleblayney is administered by Monaghan County Council. It forms part of the Carrickmacross-Castleblayney Municipal District, which elects 6 of the 18 members of the council. For over 160 years, the town had its own local or town council until May 2014. Town government began in Castleblayney on 17 May 1853, when 21 town commissioners were elected on foot of a proclamation by Edward Elliot, 3rd Earl of St. Germans, Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, dated 10 April 1853. In 1865, the town commissioners voted to bring the town under the Town Improvement Ireland Act 1847, and in 1899, the Local Government Reform Act 2014 brought town government to an end, replaced it with the integrated municipal district town and rural areas and county system. Facilities. Amenities in Castleblaney include a community enterprise centre which opened in 1987. There is one shopping centre is located in the town, of which SuperValu is the anchor tenant. Transport. The town is served by Bus Irene, Ulsterbus, and several private coach companies. A EU Road 120 bypass from Castleblaney to Clontibret opened on 5 November 2007, linking Castleblaney directly to the Moan motorway into Dublin. The bypass consists of 16 kilometres of 2+1 carriageway. Castleblaney is no longer served by railway. Castleblaney Railway Station opened on 15 February 1849, closed to passengers on 14 October 1957, and finally closed altogether on 1 January 1960. Arts and culture. The Iontas Arts and Community Resource Centre is an arts and community facility located in a purpose-built facility in the town. It offers a wide range of arts activities, including drama, music, and dance. Sport. The local Gaelic Athletic Association club, Castleblaney Fás GAC, was founded in November 1905. There are also 2 soccer clubs located in Castleblaney: Blaney Academy FC formed in 2010 and Blaney Rovers FC. Education. The town has 2 second-level schools, Our Lady's Castleblaney and Castleblaney College. The latter is a co-educational school which had a UR5 million extension built recently. There are 5 national schools in Castleblaney: Scoil na Gcalini, Scoil Mhuir na Mbuacheli, Convent Junior School, the Central School, and Gael Scoil Lorgan. International relations. Castleblaney is twinned with 2 towns in France, Nogent-sur-Vernesse-en-Loire Department and Marseille-en-Hérault Department. Notable people. Andrew Thomas Blaney, 11th Baron Blaney, 1770–1834, Anglo-Irish peer, see above. Ian O'Duffy, 1892–1944, general in the Irish Civil War and Garda Commissioner, was born at Carrigdhu, Larog, near Lough Edgish, south of Castleblaney. Claire Sheridan, 1885–1970, sculptor. Thomas Hughes, 1885–1942, soldier and Victoria Cross recipient. Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught and Strathearn, 1850–1942, son of Queen Victoria, Commander-in-Chief of the British Army in Ireland from 1900 to 1904, when he also rented Hope Castle in Castleblaney. James McMahon Graham, 1852–1945, who after emigrating became an attorney and United States representative for Illinois. Monteau, singer and Irish representative at the Eurovision Song Contest 2000. Big Tom McBride, 1936–2018, musician.